Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Edie here. I am coming in with a tutorial on how I use Descript to create my social videos, both for LinkedIn as well as for YouTube Shorts. Now, before I start, I want to give you a quick refresher for those of you who aren't familiar on how to get to this page. I'm going to go back to my workspace on my drive. And so these are the tutorials or projects that I've been working on. I'm doing something for Loom. So regardless of whether you're on the drive or you're within a folder, you can come up here to this blue button that is in your upper right corner that says New. And you can either start off with a new project, or you can start off by actually filming something, whether you're filming yourself or if you're filming and recording your screen. So in my instance, it would be a project. So you would just name this project, so we can call this one Test Loom. And then click on Create Project. This is where I was before. Now, all you would need to do at this point is either drag in your video, your audio, whatever it is that you want to work on, or you can click on choose a file and then get it directly from your computer. So because we've already done this, I'm going to go back to my Loom review and select the actual project that I was working on, which is this one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to create a teaser video for LinkedIn, which I'm going to use the same format that I would if I was going to use this for Instagram. And then I'm also going to do a YouTube short. I almost forgot what I was going to do. I'm also going to do a YouTube short, which is the portrait format. So I'm going to do both of those. And if you're familiar with YouTube Shorts, you know that they have to be less than a minute long. Whereas for LinkedIn, I don't really have a time constraint, but I am going to just select the same length. Well, actually, it might be a little bit longer for what I'm going to do on LinkedIn versus what I'm going to do on YouTube Shorts. So the first up I'm going to do is I'm going to create a teaser, or just a clip of this video that actually in totality runs about 6 minutes, I want to think. Oops. Yeah, it runs about 6 minutes. So I don't want to put that entire video on, I can if I wanted to, but I don't want to put that on LinkedIn. So I'm going to do a much shorter one. I'm not really sure exactly how short it'll be, but I just want to walk you through what the process is. So the first thing that I do when I bring in my video, as you know, with Descript, they will transcribe your video automatically. And the first thing that I do is I make all of my grammatical and typographical corrections. So I'll go through and capitalize things that need to be capitalized, or, you know, spell check things that weren't checked correctly, and all of that stuff. So what I'm going to do with this one is I actually want to use the very first portion of this video. So what I'm going to do is highlight the section. Now I'm actually going to delete this, but I can do it one of two ways. I can collect it all at one time and then delete it later, or I can just select what I want. And actually I'm going to do it that way first. So I'm going to show you, because I don't need the introduction. I want this piece, and then I'm gonna get this one later on. So once you've highlighted this, what you'll do is you'll right click it, and then you'll come down to clip to composition, and I wanna create a new composition. So I wanna create a completely new screen like what I'm looking at now. So as you can see, it says it's been added, and then you can see here, I'm going to click over there. This is where that clip went, and you can see it's just the first two paragraphs that I selected. Now I'm going to go back to this, and I also want to add this. Let me see if you followed me. Oh, actually, I'm going to take all of this. So I'm going to right click it again. I'm going to go to clip to composition, but I'm going to go to existing. Now this one is called clips for blah, blah, blah. So I want to make sure that I'm going to select the right one. So I go here, and then I go clip. as you can see, it's been added to this one. So now you can see that the text has all been added here. So this is the entire piece that I want, and it's minus all the other stuff that was on the video. So what I can do now is look and see really quickly how long this is. And this is 50 seconds. So this actually would be perfect if I wanted to just use this for my YouTube short, which actually that's what I'm going to do. Since it's under 60 seconds, I will do the YouTube short first. So now that I have this in a new composition, the first thing I need to do is to actually make the video portrait. So the way that you do that is you hover up to the image here, and you see that this appears up here in the right corner, and that's where your video settings are. So you want to click on that. And you have a choice of changing the orientation, the resolution, or the frame rate. I always leave my frame rate as is. I'm coming to orientation, and this is where I'm going to choose portrait. When I come back for the second half of this tutorial, I will show you how to do it for square. So for portrait, I'm going to select that. And then you can see it automatically now has sandwiched in my video in between two bars of black. So in order for me to make this truly portrait on, I can't speak for Instagram, but I'm thinking Instagram works the same way. But for YouTube Shorts, it's actually better if you blow out or zoom in to your video so that it can fill up all of that space, as opposed to having it portray or have the video be seen in a landscape. So what I would need to do here is click on my image, and you can see it comes up with these dots, which allows us to zoom in and zoom out or stretch it. And so in this respect, I can come here to the percentage, and I can go in. I actually know that in order for me to blow it up, I really need to be about 350 percent as opposed to 100%. But as you can see, I'm not full framed. So now I need to go here to my axis, and I need to, let's come back here. I need to move myself over. So I'm gonna say about there. So at 131, I don't think I need to do anything here. I can try to come down a little bit on my, my percentage, but I'm gonna leave it at that percentage. And then because I have multiple clips, I now need to, I guess I only have 2 clips. I now need to do the same here. So in this example, let me see, what does this part talk about? Is all about my absolute favorite video creation tool, Loom. If you've been following me for any length of time, this should not come as a shock to you, as there are plenty of Loom videos to be found here on my channel. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do something fancy here. I'm going to get rid of, okay. Okay, so now on the second clip, I'm going to repeat the same. It was 341, and interestingly enough, that works. Okie dokie. So the next thing that I want to do is, because I want to add closed captioning, I now need to bring in that capability. So in order for me to do that, I need to come up here to the plus sign, and then I'm going to come down to fancy captions. And because I had my cursor at the beginning of my first sentence, that's where the fancy captions are going to come in. And then I'm going to, this works on each clip, so at this point, all right, so I need to bring in fancy captions here as well. And then I stretch that until the end of the video. Now in this example, I do have some B-roll that is Let me see. What I'm gonna have to do here is I'm gonna edit.
Time this should.
Okay.
Time.
So. Okay. So I am gonna make a cut here. So I'm gonna come up to the blade and cut there. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is because in this portion, I am going to reposition myself. So I'm gonna have to come to the end of this.
As a shock to you, as there are plenty of loom videos to be found here on my channel.
Okay, so I don't need. So I think I should be fine there. And then here, oh, where did it?
Tool, loom. Loom.
Okay. All right, so let's get the blade out again, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do there. All right, so for the meantime, right here, oh, let's go back. I am now going to, now that I'm on this portion, I'm going to move myself over. Ooh, should I do it this way? I think I'll do this. Okay, I'll do that. And then I'm going to bring in the logo or something else that would be able to cover for that and hopefully be seen a little bit better. Trying to think of what would be the best thing for me to use. So bear with me as I search for it. I'm gonna try and see what's in my folder. I do have, oh, I know what I'll use. I have, let me see, I guess I'll use this one. So this is an image that I figure makes sense because this is perfect since it's showing it on the phone version of Loom. So let's see.
If you've been following me for
Okay, so let's move down. And just so that you know what I did, I needed to have the fancy captions be seen. And as you could see from here, my image actually went on the track above my fancy captions. So therefore you couldn't see it. So all I did is right clicked on my image and then said that I wanted it to be moved, and it moved it down. So you can see here, you can move up, in which case you can't see the fancy captions, and then when you right click and you say move down, now you can. So that's all you would need to do, and you can, and I'll show you how that helps when I'm doing the 1x1 version. But for the time being, let's go back up here to our captions, and I think that's fine. I like doing the word level. As you can see, the word is highlighted.
To create these suckers were way too involved for me to even.
So I can change the color if I want, which I probably will change it to one of my other brand colors, and that's going to be FD 9506. So I want it to be orange, I think.
Explain to you now. But back then, that was all.
Now, really quickly, if you want to get a better view of what your video is looking like as you're editing it, all you need to do is come to View and just say Move Video. You can use the shortcut Alt-Control-Shift-V. And then that way it truncates it, it makes it a little bit smaller, but at least you'll be able to see the full video, and then the script is right beneath it. And then you can always hover here to make it smaller or bigger. That's the maximum size, that's the smallest, so that you can still see the transcript and your video at the same time. I just wanted to make sure that the other thing you need to do is make sure that this is going to last for the length of time that you want it to. So that's exactly what I want to have happen. Let me make sure that these, okay, so this, you have to match up all of the fancy captions. Whatever it is that you're doing, it has to match.
Absolute favorite.
Okay. So we need to do the word level, and we're going to do the FD9506. So that's working, and then
Me for any length of time. This should not come as a shock to you, as there are plenty of Loom videos to be found here on my channel.
okay.
Way back.
So if that's how I wanted my portrait to be, then I would finish that up by going to Publish. Then you go to Export, and then you go to Video. Now, if there's anything else that I wanted to put on it, then I could do that if I wanted to make this like an audiogram, but I'm cool. I don't need a progress bar. I don't need any other things. I'm just going to export this as a and then it's exporting. Next up is the Instagram post. Okay, so I am going to come up here and find. All right, I did the intro the last time. Let's try and do. Okay. I guess I can start for those of you. All right, I'll do the first question. That's a little over a minute. I don't mind it being a little bit longer, but I'll just stick with this for now. So I'm going to right click, and I actually created or had a previous composition that was ready for this that I already created, and so it's called LinkedIn because that's what I want to use it for. So I'm gonna cut straight to that. So as you can see, it sent it over here. Here is my clip, and like I said, it's about 1:13 seconds for those. Okay, I think I'm good with the, yeah, I think everything is fine here. So because this is now going to be a square video, I am now going to come over here into this video settings area, and I'm going to change it to square. So just like it did with the story, it's given me the 2 black bars above and below it. Now, you can do something super simple, and you can simply just change the background color from black to whatever your brand colors are and call it a day, slap a title on there, and then have your fancy captions on the bottom of it. Totally and completely up to you. However, I actually want to do a little something a little bit more custom. So I've actually created a background that I actually want to use. So I am going to go over to my desktop, and I am going to find my backgrounds. All right, so now I have that where I want it to be. I'm gonna shrink down the timeline because, as you can see, the image is just here, and I want it for the entire, for the entire length of my video. And I think my video actually might come out a bit further than I want it to. Now, as you can see my image, but you cannot see the track below it. And that's like I explained to you in the last video. You have to right click it. And now I want to move this layer below my script. So I want to move it down. So as soon as I did that, you saw that the image went in the background and then my video came up on top of that. So now I can add in my fancy captions. So I'm going to come up to the plus sign, go to fancy captions and add that in there. And then as you move the timeline, you can see what that color is going to look like. Again, I like to do my word level. Maybe I might change this to white. Yeah, why not? And then if I want to change the font, I think I don't mind having condensed, but maybe I don't need bold. Yeah, I'll take bold off. And the font size is fine. All right, I'll just do regular Roboto. Now I might want to just move this down a little bit just so that, and let me move this up a smidgen as well. Okay, and so I think that's fine. Again, with the fancy captions, you have to make sure that it goes the entire length of your video. And I do have this, okay, yes, I do have that. And so when you play it, you will see.
Loom is
oops, fancy captions. I'm gonna have to change this color. I guess I can do it to black. I'll do it as black just so that you can see it. And then if I want to bring in a title up here, I come back to the plus sign and then I come to text. And you'll see it there immediately. Click on it. Again, I'm going to want this to be the entire length of the video. And now I want to change the font. And let's say I use that. And then I'm going to make this a bit bigger. So I can call this what is Loom? If I want, I can even bring in my logo as opposed to saying Loom. I could actually bring in the logo. In fact, I think I am going to do that. One more thing before I finish. I am going to put a progress bar. So I'm going to come up again to the plus sign and then I'm going to come down to progress bar and that's going to go at the very top and I'm going to put this here. I'm actually going to make it smaller. So I need to do that. Okay, sorry. All right, so there we go.
Loom is an asynchronous video.
That works. Okay. And so now that I have my progress bar on and everything else that I need, I'm going to select publish and I'm going to publish this current. I did not walk you through this portion, but this basically just confirms that you're exporting at the current composition, the format that you want to do it at, making sure that your channels for your audio are accurate and the dimensions are correct, the title, and then if you wanted to add in anything else. This actually is for your YouTube videos so that you can have chapter points in your YouTube videos, which I did in my editing for beginners video, so we don't really need it. It doesn't even matter whether it's checked or not. And then you just export, and we're going to replace this one. And that's it. So creating social videos using Descript is pretty simple, pretty effortless. When you're finished creating your video in Descript, it's very, very easy for you to just grab whatever portion of the video you want to turn into a short or a story or a teaser for YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, wherever it is that you want to do it. It's very, very easy and very, very simple for you to be able to do this. So I really wanted you to see that. And until I see you in the next video, thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I release a new video. Take care.